Hi. I know I said I'd be doing a lot of Gears kind of videos, and I didn't. And the game's been out almost a month now, so I wanted to get out at least some kind of general thoughts kind of video out. Before starting, let me say that I do like this game a lot. Me liking it is the main reason I haven't really been putting out any videos for it. I've been playing it, and I've been playing it so much that I just can't bring myself to make videos of it because I'd rather be playing it. Like I'll go to start making a video, and then I'll be like, fuck it, I want to play the game. I mean, just for reference, I'm already a level 100, and I've been a 100 for almost a week now as of me making this video. That doesn't mean I don't have problems with it though. And honestly, a lot of these problems that I have with it are things that either could have, should have, or at some point were fixed. So they're really frustrating to honestly even just list off. I don't know how long I'm going to be talking for, so I might have to put two different gameplays in this. All I really have to go off of are notes, so it's not like going to be some kind of cohesive written type of shit that I normally do. I'm going to be jumping around and mixing topics around together a lot. Not going to be like seamless transitions from one topic to the next. I'm just going to be going down the list. First things I want to talk about, though, are the things that I really... Like, these aren't even debatable to me as far as problems, at least in my eyes. I've tried to find reasons, I've tried to find justifications for them, but I just can't. I think the number one is obvious. Everybody's complaining about it because it's a problem, and that's the sawed-off. If you don't think it's a problem, I understand there are people that don't think it's a problem, but it's a problem. And if you don't think it's a problem, I kind of wonder what your perspective on the game is. Because, now, let me just say, I don't just have a problem with it in it taking skill away from multiplayer or it taking shotgun fights out or whatever. I have a problem with it that it not only breaks multiplayer versus modes, it also breaks campaign and it breaks horde. Alright, for example, in campaign, let's say you're playing on Insane. There's this part, I think it's in Act 2, like you're in the Deadlands waiting to get on a beast barge, and a beast barge is circling around you and it's dropping 2 palace guards at a time. If you try to play that level on Insane solo, you're probably going to die at least once or twice. If you have a sawed-off, that becomes the easiest level in the game. All you have to do is wait for them to drop down, and you can line them up and one-hit kill both of them at the same time on any difficulty. You can't do that with any other gun. And not only that, but you can do it for the whole duration of the time period that it goes on for. Even if you have, say, a boom shot or a torque bow, the shots don't last forever. But with the sawed-off, you can easily get more ammo, and you can have enough ammo to do it. It gets ridiculous. It eases not only the versus multiplayer, but it eases the campaign too. Like it seriously makes some fairly difficult levels completely just bullshit piss easy levels. And not only that, but it breaks horde too. Alright, for example, here's one that you can do really easily. Go on to Wave 1 Insane of Horde with a Nasher. See how many shots it takes you to kill one drone. I'm pretty sure it's 5 or 6 shots, perfectly placed shots to kill one drone on Insane Wave 1. Now go to like Wave 37 or anything before they make it 2.5 damage taken. And I think it's called damage taken. I don't know which poison it is. But if you have a sawed-off on any wave before like 41, you can kill pretty much anything in one hit. Anything other than like a grinder, which you can still kill in one active with the sawed-off. Even in Horde, the sawed-off's a one-hit kill. Like, you're talking an instant kill versus its counterpart is taking 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds of pure fire before it kills something. I'm sorry, but that's not balanced. That's complete bullshit. The fact that you can spawn with that weapon is total and utter bullshit. Okay? It's not just the multiplayer versus that suffers from it. It's the campaign and it's the Horde. And it's ridiculous. It needs to go. Something has to be done to the point where it can't be a starting weapon at the very least. Honestly, it should have never been put in the game. I can sit here and complain about it for hours. I'm just gonna move on from it now. The second biggest problem I have with the game, though, is that they made Execution and Warzone, the two most played game modes from Gears 1 and 2, they made them awful. Like, there's 2 big problems and one fairly big problem that they're going to take. They're phasing out the man-up rule in the next title update, which is, in my opinion, the third biggest problem with the 2 game modes. So that's good. But then you have the sawed-off, which, look, I can kind of deal with the sawed-off in King of the Hill. I can kind of deal with it in all of the respawn game types. In a one-life game type, no. It's not. It's wrong. Everything about putting that gun in a one-life... It shouldn't be an execution in Warzone. That's all I can really say about it without spending 10 minutes on that. All right, and then 3 rounds is obviously just way too. It's too short. You're cutting a game from a potential 9 rounds to a potential 5 rounds. You know, it's not that bad for quick match, but for ranked matches, it's ridiculous. Like, you don't even have enough time to like figure out how the other team's playing and what kind of route you can take and what kind of tendencies the other team has, because by the time you figure anything out, the game's over, no matter what. A game can last 2 minutes. I've had ranked execution games that last 2 minutes, and that's not just from one team rolling over the other. It's just the games are that short now. It's stupid. It should, it wouldn't be so bad if they didn't say they weren't changing it, but then they changed so many things about the game mode that it just, to me, Execution and Warzone are unplayable right now, and hopefully they change things in ways that make them playable, at least for me. But right now I would rather play King of the Hill. And I'm not that big on playing King of the Hill. I like the concept of King of the Hill and the way it works. But from a fun perspective, I would rather play Execution and Warzone in theory. But with all the shit that goes on in it, I don't, which is just ridiculous to play it for 5 years and to not play it at all. Just it doesn't seem right. They screwed up really big with Execution and Warzone. The third thing that really bugs me is that Epic tried to add so many pointless things into the game that weren't necessary. I mean, just listing a few. The sniper light when you look at somebody was stupid. The vision's already restricted enough with the sniper. You don't need to, when somebody scopes in with it, you don't need to alert people of your presence with it. That's just dumb. They added more view kick. If you watched my Road to Battle Hard, like really any Road to Battle Hard video, you know that I hate view kick. Like, it's not that I don't think it has a place in shooters, but I don't think it has any kind of place in third-person shooters. And it's all over the place in Gears 3. I mean, you get hit with one Lancer bullet from across the map, and your vision bobs like 60 degrees up and down horizontally, which is ridiculous. You can't get an accurate shot anymore. It was already bad enough, but they added more in the retail. They made a completely unnecessary change to the Crimson Omen to like. I made a video about this one that like it's different from Gears 1 and 2, how back on the other games it would be the damage was represented better. It wasn't like this immediate flash on your screen of holy shit you're gonna die, when in reality you've only taken like 2 shots of Lancer damage. It's just it's a totally unnecessary change. It freaks people out. You can't even tell the difference between like 40% and 80% damage. I don't get why they would change that of all things. And then of course they get nade planning right in the beta. They get it perfect in the beta, and then they switch it back to the way it worked in Gears 2. I don't understand that. I don't even want to talk about it. That was fucking stupid on their part. There's no justification for that. Nobody complained about it. Nobody complained about planted nades in the beta, and yet they switched it back to the one that everybody complained about. I don't understand. And then the other problem that I have is just that I feel like Epic listened to the wrong people with the beta. Like the ink, if you watch any of my videos, you would know, or any of my Gears 3 beta videos, you know that I think the ink was ridiculously overpowered in the beta as it was. And then in retail, they make it 3 times more. They give like this stun radius 3 times more radius. I'm messing up my wording, but whatever. You get what I mean. They made it more powerful. I'm gonna say this once. The ink grenade, there are a lot of opportunities where I would rather have an ink grenade than a power weapon, and that's absolutely ridiculous. That should never happen. It's a grenade, okay? The best way that I can put it is I watched a streamed tournament match where every round on Old Town was decided by not a power weapon, not team fire, not teamwork, not even one-on-one shotgun fights. It came down to an ink throw made at the beginning of every round. It was the fastest 4-0 I've ever seen in competitive Gears, and it was all because of an ink. Something that each team spawned with. It was fucking stupid. I don't know. I don't get why they would change it. It was powerful enough as it was. Some other just random shit that they changed. They made the boom shot more powerful after giving it 3 shots. I was fine with the way it was in the beta. It took, it was kind of like the pre-patch Gears 1 boom shot, and it had 3 shots, which I was fine with. But then they made it the Gears 2 boom shot again, where it has this ridiculous blast radius. It wasn't needed. It was powerful enough. You gave it 3 shots. You didn't need to make it more powerful. It was, in a sense, balanced to the other power weapons. And now it's back to being the boom shot that just, when the other team has it, you don't even want to do anything. You just want to make them have to make a mistake. You know, another thing they made the retro, after everybody complained about how powerful the retro lancer is and how annoying it is, they made it more powerful at medium range. Like, for example, it takes something like 12 to 14 Nasher shots at the game's defined medium range to down somebody. It takes the retro lancer 7. You're talking a full auto gun downing in like close to 1 second in time to kill versus 14 seconds, and it against its like main counterpart in terms of range and damage output. I really don't get the logic going on here. Those are the things though that you wouldn't be able to convince me that my view is wrong on that. What I'm going to list now though are things that, like, I can understand the reason behind it not setting up the way I see it, but I still think it's a problem. Okay, number one, the matchmaking system is still horrid. There's no difference between ranked and quick match. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's not a good thing whatsoever. Server-listed custom matches have to come back for this game to have a decent lifespan. I don't care if they don't have dedicated servers. They need to make some kind of return. Even if they don't get rid of quick matches, whatever. Let people play the game the way they want to play it. You know, Epic's unwillingness to accept any style of play or setup other than their own vision, it gets aggravating. You know, there are people who want to play with all mortars, and they don't want to have to play, you know, like, just as an example, all mortars. You know, it could be all snipers, all mortars, all torpedoes, you know what I mean. But they don't, you know, they might not have 10 people on all the time who want to play that. So they, you know, you go back to Gears 1 days, you could get 10 people, well, not 10, but 8 people who, you know, who want to stay in that room. I don't understand why they got rid of that. It lets people play the game the way they want to play it. It's just this unwillingness to change. Like, they think the way that they have the game set up is perfect, and it's not a bad way to set up the game and everything, but it's not perfect, and it's not going to satisfy everybody. When you try to satisfy everybody, you can't satisfy everybody, because you're trying to compromise, and not everybody wants to compromise. Some people just want certain things, you know? I do like that they were willing to change maps like Overpass and Sandbar, though. They saw that nobody likes those maps. They saw that nobody was voting for them in ranked, so they changed both of them. Granted, they didn't do anything to help Overpass. It's still just as bad. It's honestly probably worse with a boom shot and a torque bow on it. They definitely made Sandbar better, though. I think they're making the most out of a pretty bad map in Sandbar. But, you know, unless they want to find a way to completely redesign the map so the middle's opened up between nades and boom shot and hammer, the map's always going to be bad. So, you know, at least they're making the most out of it now. And then outside of those two maps, those aren't the only two maps that need swap changes. There are maps that desperately need swap changes. Overpass still isn't good with boom shot and torque. Mercy needs to get rid of the boom shot. Dry Dock needs to not have one team have an ink grenade while the other team gets a completely worthless scorcher. Thrashball still plays like ass because the top, you know, you go up top, you control the top area, and you win. It's like an automatic win. And just, again, ink grenades. Why are there 2 ink grenades on Gridlock? Not only why are there 2 ink grenades, but why do they swap with the smoke? You know, the same with Old Town. The ink and the smoke are nowhere close to being equal to each other. Just like how the sniper and the torque bow are not equal to each other. The digger and the boom shot are not equal to each other. They shouldn't be swapping with each other. Neither should the Gorgon and the Bull Talk. Just because they fall into the same, like, kind of the same category, like an accurate skill weapon with the sniper and torque, or an explosive with the digger and the boom shot, doesn't mean they're the same weapon, you know? Like, I like the way Checkout's set up with the sniper and the digger swap. They're fairly equal in terms of usefulness. I would personally take a sniper over a digger, but you're going to have preferences. You know, you swap a boom shot and a torque, it depends on the map and the situation on which one you want. You give somebody the option of a smoke or an ink, it's going to be ink every time. Every single time. Same with Bolt Hawk and Gorgon. Nobody's going to pick a Gorgon over a Bolt Hawk. I think some of the setups are just, you know, some of the swaps are just stupid. You know, they're not thought through all the way through. You know, a Bolt Hawk and an ink grenade are like, they're the kind of weapons that you put in the middle of the map and put one on a map. They don't, you know, they shouldn't be spawning on both sides. One team shouldn't automatically get one. They're just too powerful. Speaking of powerful, that all of the rifles, honestly, it's not that I'm not going to complain about the rifles in the sense that they're too powerful in a time to, like, they're overpowered in a time to kill kind of thing. But they're just too powerful shot for shot. Like, I don't like how the game went with such a low fire rate for all the guns. Like, the Lancer only shoots 450 rounds a minute. In Gears 1, it shot 900. Like, what's that about? Why can't there be an assault rifle that relies on high fire rate and low damage, as opposed to this low fire rate, high damage kind of setup that they have with every single... All of the assault rifles are basically the same. because they're going with the same metric for all three of them, and I don't get it. You know, they want to Epic wants to preach variety, but they're not even changing weapons that are in the same class to be different from each other. You know, like there's really not that much of a difference between the Lancer and the Retro Lancer, other than the Lancer can be used at longer ranges, which tend to not be all that useful in the game anyway because of the cover system. So, I don't know. What else do I have here? I think that's it about the things that I really just don't like about the game. Like I said, the rifles were really the last thing that I wanted to harp on. I really think the Lancer needs a total statistical overhaul. If the Retro Lancer... I always thought the Retro Lancer was going to shoot slower than the Lancer, and it shoots the same speed. But, like, why they're so similar if you look at the stats for them. It doesn't make sense. Why have two guns that are... I understand they have the same name, but they're designed totally different. They're supposed to work totally different. You know, I don't see why the Lancer wasn't at some point changed to be a different gun, you know? I do actually have two more things that really, really bug me about the game. They're glitches, so they're expected to annoy people. But first one is the glitch where you scope in with a sniper or a hammer burst, and you aim at a wall. Like, it locks you onto a wall or the floor or whatever. That needs to be fixed. It was brought to attention like hundreds of times on their beta forums, and for some reason it wasn't fixed. If that doesn't get fixed, it's a serious issue. I don't get it. Why, you know, of all of the things to fix and not fix, that should have been like at the very top of the list, something that shouldn't happen at all. And something that happens constantly, by the way. It's not like once every, 30 matches it happens. It happens every time somebody picks up a sniper rifle or every time somebody uses a hammer burst. And then the other one that I have an issue with is another one from the beta where the snub pistol's fire rate gets randomly capped lower than it should be. Like one game, for example, even on the same server, you can have a game where you can unload a clip instantly, and then other servers, even other games on the same server, you need 3 full seconds before your full clip gets emptied. It's just inconsistencies like that bug me. I don't get, those are 2 beta things that should have been fixed. They were brought to developers' attention. I don't know. I've got on for long enough, though. Those are really my main problems with the game. I know it sounds like a lot, but in comparison to what I would complain about on Gears 1 and 2, it's really not. It's just a few things that really bugged me that weren't fixed from the beta, things that were even right in the beta and got put back to being wrong in my eyes, things that just, ideas, concepts that don't seem fleshed out, that don't seem like they were actually tested all the way through and whatever. Things that were complained about in the beta that weren't changed at all. I mean, I guess that's it. That's more or less everything I wanted to say. I do have one question, though. I'm wondering what kind of gameplay you guys would rather watch, as a viewer. Would you rather see me carrying it with a ton of points in a close game, regardless of how good each team is? Would you rather see me run over people that have no clue what they're doing? Would you rather see me get a decent score, like, I don't know, let's say 13-4 or 12-3 or something like that? That's not like an amazing score, but it's a decent score against a full team in rank that know what they're doing. Would you rather see me abuse power weapons? I'm just kind of wondering what gameplay people prefer to watch, or even what kind of gameplay you want to see but don't see anybody else putting out. I'd definitely like to know the answer to that, since at this point I've got about 50 gameplays saved up, and they all go in different directions, and what kind of gameplay they are, and how I do, how the other team is, whatever. So I'd just like to know the answer to that.